Greetings, everyone. My name is Chad Murdock, filmmaker, writer, director of this project, Booty Call Nothing Defeats Desire. Here to give you guys some insights and hopefully some important knowledge on the making of this film.
I'm on my way home now.
Shot in Brooklyn, New York,
You want to meet me there?
starring two of my close
Where?
friends, one of
What
whom
area are you
on
in?
the screen right now, Derek Walton,
Okay, me too.
playing the part of Joe.
Are you
And I will get into that in a second.
uh,
This is right
uh,
by
I'm right by
Metrograph.
Canal and Watts.
So
Yeah,
very
yeah, right by the
popular
C train.
theater. I just
Yeah,
said this
yeah, I
film
do
was
know
shot
what
in
you're talking
Brooklyn, New York, but this is actually in
about.
Manhattan. But the rest of the film
Bye
is
bye.
shot in my old
See you
apartment
soon.
in Bed-Stuy. And here he's going down to meet the lover. Some notes on this sequence, briefly, trying to establish here that these two people know each other already, that this isn't, as the title suggests, a typical booty call, but that there is a sense of nervousness here. Perhaps there is a sense of nervousness in the majority of those calls, but and this is Maya Holiday, who plays Erica in this film. Maya and I have worked together on almost every project I've made since 2016, during my time at SVA as a film student, and she's one of my best friends. So Maya and Derek are, I hope they don't mind me disclosing this, a real life couple. Um, so this film is very much aligned with the principle that there's no such thing as a distinction between documentary and fiction filmmaking, and that all filmmaking, all cinema, is a combination of creating narrative as well as capturing reality. So definitely not inventing that, but I agree with it. And we are on to our second location, which is the apartment. It's a red door. Hands, of course. Darkness. So the rest of this film was shot in this apartment, and so you'll hear here a lot of isolated sounds. I also served as the Foley
Want something to
artist
drink?
and sound
Some water?
designer on this
Sure.
film. Um, and I recorded most of the sounds that you will be hearing um, separately. Basically everything, in particular the cars, which I will return to. There's a point I will return to later on.
Why you acting like you never been here before?
But all the sounds are isolated.
I'm not.
And here are some more clues that there's more to this than just a booty call, the touching of the walls, and the examination process.
Thanks. Why don't you put something on?
Yeah, good idea.
Footsteps. Here's one of my favorite moments. The car, the reflection in the window, which we will return to. And here is a beautiful composition from Brandon Woody and Troy Long on the piano. I literally just texted Brandon asking him if he had any music for this film I'm working on. Um, and I thought I think that's important because I didn't want him to compose a new song, because that's not what's happening here. This is not
This is
music
another
for
situation.
the film per se. It's music that Joe has in
I
his
think you should
apartment.
be very clear with each other.
I agree.
I don't want there to be any confusion.
Neither do I.
In my opinion, the song fits perfectly with this scene.
I mean, what do we usually do?
When I come over?
Yeah.
Well, you definitely don't play music at night. You're more of like a music in the mornings type.
Should I turn it off?
No.
I should say, and I meant to say this earlier, this film was shot by Scotty Ueda, who is one of
When I
the
would come over here,
most talented
when I would come over here at
cinematographers that I've met and worked with, and also just an incredibly
That's
loving man,
not a couple,
and
so.
human being, a great friend.
I
And
like to think. You still got
with a
chemistry, man.
crew that comprised of myself, Scott,
This is stupid.
Matthew Hayes
Hold
as
on.
an assistant camera, Carol
This
Yanli,
is weird.
and
This is definitely
Asia
weird.
Jones
Let's
as
just take a second
the best
and
assistant
start over.
director.
Like from the top.
Very small
From
crew,
the top?
very
Yep, from the
nimble.
top. Like you've never been
In the
here
subway, there was only myself,
So we never
Scott,
dated?
Carol, and
No.
these two actors.
Are we strangers?
before. No, not strangers. We're mutuals.
First time?
So what we're about to have here is our first
What do you
real entrance into the structure of the film, which is remaining on the lamp.
Come on, get your shoes on.
Most
Let me
films
get the
are
light.
shot out of order, obviously, but the last two films I made in particular, so this Booty Call and my feature Fingers in the Wind, presented very particular challenging sequences, where time moves but the frames don't, or where there's a return to a frame over the course of
Wow.
time. So we have
That's
to
crazy down
organize
there.
the shoots according to those
Whose place
principles
is it?
of time, and
Yours.
for it to really work. And
mean?
it kind of feels like, in a
Then why did
strange
you change the
way,
lamp?
like a kind of logic is being created, in my opinion. So these are the moments I feel
I mean,
closest to a kind of
It could be your place. We're bending the
pure
rules. Let's make
cinema,
believe.
as they call it,
So,
quote
you know.
unquote pure,
Yeah.
because of that
Well,
process of
I
creating
don't even really
and
invite
sculpting
guys over to my house on
a
Tuesday.
temporal reality as well as a spatial
rules or
reality,
anything, it's just
and logic.
the way it is.
And in this film in particular,
Do you invite
you
guys
see, because of that structure, we also see the characters doing the same thing. And to the point that I'm not even sure if characters is the
definitely don't invite
appropriate
guys over on the
term
first
for
date,
the
but you
people
don't
that we are
hesitate to
watching
accept the invitation,
struggle.
because if you did, you're gonna be
So I
there,
just
right?
thought that was an interesting
Well, this
thing
isn't a
to
date, Joe.
bring
We're
up.
not dating.
Are those the facts? We didn't just come here from a date. We just came here to do our thing.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
This has to be realistic. Can you at least try to make it feel realistic?
Fine, okay? It's your place. We'll do it again.
Okay.
And again, we remain on the lamp in the darkness. Now, this is a particularly interesting moment. This is a still frame. And I remember we had a discussion on set, me and Scott. He didn't want to use a still frame. He wanted to record it, maybe see the light moving in some way.
Joe,
But I
the light.
like the visual impression of a still image versus a
Joe,
motion picture
are you gonna
capturing
get the light?
stillness, supposedly. I think
Were
it
you
is
on a
a
date
different
when I called you?
presentation of time. Um, and I think it is something to be considered here
Yes.
in terms of the suspension of
Well, I was
time
alone when you called.
that they are
I
attempting
had just left.
to enact or capture. So that I thought that was the decision made to use that
I don't think this is gonna work.
technique. And here we are in the darkness.
We can't avoid the facts. Shit, I'm sorry. We're not helping each other.
This dialogue, if I could say quickly,
I'm sorry.
is more so
Okay, you
two
were supposed to
people,
know.
in my opinion, speaking
Like,
to themselves in a lot of ways. They're bouncing
trying to
ideas off
move
of each
on.
other than two people really speaking to
What
each
weren't you
other.
supposed to know?
And that was something that we
Moving
talked
on.
about, myself,
Other
Maya, and
people.
Derek.
It's natural, isn't it?
This is the first time we've spoken since we broke up. How can we just skip over all that time? I don't know. I just feel like if we were friends, I'd be excited and eager to share with you all the things I've learned about myself. But the way I learned it, how can I cower in front of somebody I love so much? Why am I so afraid of what you think of me?
So you hear there a song. I'm not necessarily sure what song it is, but
You
as
don't
I
need to
mentioned
know everything
earlier, I
about each
recorded the
other. You
street
can be friends,
sounds
Joe.
separately, and I consider the use of that song as a sample, some sort of sample. Although I'm not sure what song it is. It kind of sounds like a Pink Panther song or something. Um, I really hope I don't get in
Please
trouble.
turn the light off.
I need to see your
It
face.
does return later on in the film, but I placed it there in particular to kind of provide a sort of counterpoint to Joe's
Friends
or
because I care
Derek's
about you.
line, the kind of seriousness of
You
his
care about me?
sincerity of
Care about
his
you.
word and his line there. Why am I so afraid of what you think of me? And then
I
Pink
love you.
Panther comes marching down the street. So yeah, I love this image.
I love it too.
Maya is dressed for a funeral. It feels like, and her posture. I
I love
just
it
feel like
too.
somebody's mourning something. And Derek becomes like this unseen figure here,
Let's try this
and
again.
it's a transfer of information in a way
Okay.
because of the structure to this point. We're about to move on anyway, but because of the structure to this point, the focus takes turns based on the lamp, as we just saw. But in that scene, in that image, the camera shifts the scene and kind of shifts the information. This is the same
Yeah.
exact sound recorded I recorded of the shoes coming off and the zippers. All the sounds in this film are recycled for exact repetition.
You live by yourself?
Yeah?
It's beautiful.
And we're halfway through the film's runtime, and things are getting a little steamy here. And you can see the reflection in the window as well, the return of the reflection. And the darkness.
I wanna fuck him. I wanna fuck him.
So you can hear sounds recorded. I used a bed sheet.
Erica.
I kind of just was waving it back and forth.
Erica.
And I also recorded my air conditioner, like on a fan. That's what's creating this kind of vacuum
Joe?
sound.
Why is it so dark in here?
What?
I love the way
It's so dark I can't see
Derek
anything.
steps into that frame.
What do you mean?
Joe.
Is that how you would do it?
What?
You would lead me to my own bedroom.
And there's the song
okay.
again, the potential Pink Panther
Let's keep
song. That time feeling a little absurd, and that's what I hope repetition does. So, to my point earlier on the difference between a still frame versus motion image capturing stillness, I think that was a good example of the opposite just now of a motion picture capturing the suspension as opposed
Joe?
to a self-creation of the suspension.
Joe?
And you might have heard that my saying Joe's name just now had an echo or a reverb to it. The room is changing. More light. And I'm not going to talk too much over this monologue here. But I love the way the lights from the street outside of the cars passing by kind of look like stars just flying through this black space that we know is the bedroom. That's one of those. It's one of those things that you see while shooting that just really make cinema a special, very special medium to work in.
So many parts of myself I lost touch with while we were together, Joe. It's not because of you. It's because I was loose with them. So many things, and I've been trying all these different ways to get back. I still don't feel like myself by these ways. I feel so much worse.
Maya here is very special.
And I shouldn't be here because
I don't have much else to say about it.
I'm gonna feel worse. And worse, and it'll never end. When I left that guy earlier, it's because he wasn't interesting. I was gonna fuck him. But he wasn't interesting. And I just couldn't get past that.
And I'm sure you noticed we really get no sense of Joe or Derek. I use those interchangeably.
And I was
the
proud of
characters'
myself
names
for
and
leaving that
the actors' name.
situation, but then you called.
There's really no sense that
Am I
he is
right?
even in the room. I mean, he kind of just
I'm
disappears
following my
into the
true
room,
desires, or am I
into
wrong for starting
silence, into
things up?
darkness. It acts as a barrier of
What
sorts.
do I really want?
The door frame, the doorway, the portal.
How is this really gonna make me feel? I don't want to be with you. But I'm gonna want to be with you, and that just doesn't suit me.
You'll also notice here in this image,
Oh,
this
yeah.
beautiful image. Um, we really wanted to bring the blacks out. Shout out to
I
Duke
miss,
Brown, the colorist. We really
miss you.
wanted to bring the blacks out, as well as throughout the film,
I miss those
the
days I used to
warmth
have.
of the lamp. And I mean, here it looks so
Those ways I
warm
used to
that
think.
she could be sweating. And I think it's
I
a
just miss you.
beautiful glow on Maya. Um, I just can't express it enough. And she decides to leave, and now
I
the
have to go.
darkness feels just as mundane as anything else. It feels like we're actually in a bedroom, I dare to say. And Derek returns, and it's very simple. It's very simple what's happening here. It's everything, but it's very simple.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
The red door.
Good night.
Good night. Let me know when you get home.
Okay.
And I really thought about bringing that song back for this part. But I decided to just let Brandon's music kind of take us out, and to let the audience imagine where Joe is sitting, standing, what he's doing in that room that we can't see beyond the dark wall. This is the first film where I considered the use of black as a I don't want to say as a narrative device, but black in terms of the shadow as a heavy yeah, I guess device is the only word for it. My previous films mostly take place during the day, have a bright quality to them, and I like this. It felt a little more futuristic to me, honestly. And here we have some credits. And I want to thank everybody. This is my first audio commentary. Oh, yes, Razan provided, there's a painting in the, you see it above the record player. There is a painting that is from my good friend, Razan. And that's it. So thank you all so much. And hopefully there were some insightful things that I said in here. As you can see, the credits aren't very long. I also edited the film. And as I mentioned, I sound designed it.